up? Today on our live, we're going to be talking about the relationship question of the day, which is, what do you want? What do you really want? Right? That's important for you to understand. This is that I'm experiencing when I talk to a ton of different clients, coaching clients, via DM. The bottom line is, if you don't know what you want, I don't know how you expect anybody to give it to you, right? Whatever the situation is, right? The person that you're in a relationship with is not giving you what you want. Whatever. What you want? What do you want to see happen? Right? Tell me. What do you want to see happen? And that's the big issue that a lot of people are facing. They just don't know. They don't know what they want. So why in the hell are you in a relationship? Why are you going through the challenges of a relationship? Why? Now, when I say do you know what you want, there are a lot of people who are what I call very surface, right? Somebody comes to me, they're having an issue in a relationship. This is one of the first questions I ask. What would you like to see happen? Right? What would you like to see changed? Tell me. What would you like to see different? Tell me. And I don't like hearing things like, or want to hear things like, well, I just want somebody who's going to love me. Okay, well, let me ask you a question. How do you know if somebody loves you? What does that look like? How do you know? Tell me. What does that look like? And if you can't answer that question, then how do you know if they love you? How do you know if they're doing it, right? You don't. So, when it comes to relationships, it's important that you try to get as specific as possible. Let me give you an example. I want someone who I can spend my time with, 95%, 80% of my time with. I want somebody that I can build a life with. These are my goals. These are things I want to accomplish. I want someone in my life who I'm compatible with, that I can build a life with, right? I want someone who is a good father, a good husband, a good companion, someone who likes to travel like I do, right? Not just someone who loves me, someone who cares about me, right? You got to get specific. That's important. Because eventually, at some point, you're going to have to verbalize it. You're going to have to say it out of your mouth. This is what you want. How you doing, Yolanda? You have to make sure that you can verbalize it. Because if you can't verbalize it, then you can't expect anybody to do anything for you. And I ask this question of my coaching clients 100 different ways. I ask it all kind of ways. What in the hell do you want? I'm just using that as an effect. What do you want? Right? And I don't know if the person that I'm about to share this information about is actually watching, but I'm going to use this story from yesterday. I get a message on my DM from someone who says she met somebody through work. Okay? And she told this guy was flirting with her. Right? She then said to him, "Don't flirt with me, because in a sense, I'm not interested in unless you're gonna step up and, whatever, right?" So essentially, the guy, and I didn't say this to her, but I'm saying it now, took it as a little bit of a rejection and put her in the friend zone. So he's flirting to see if there's any mutual interest there. She gives him some pushback. He doesn't think that it's something that he could do in terms of being in a relationship with her. So he moves her over to the friend zone. Okay? She was trying to communicate something else. What she was trying to communicate was, hey, you're flirting with me. I see you like me. I like you too. I would like to explore the potential of a relationship with you. Is that something you're interested in? Right? That's what she should have said. But what she tried to do, and a lot of women do this, is she tried to gauge his interest by putting her hand out there and saying, step back a little bit. Right? Now, what did he do? He took a step back. So he said, F it, okay. You don't want to kick it? I'm flirting with you, showing you that I'm interested. You don't want to kick it? No problem. That confused her. Now, right? How you doing? Now that he's not showing interest, she wants to know if he's interested, right? So she asks me the question, and I asked her, what you want? What do you want? What would you like to see happen? Right? Tell me. What do you want? Tell me. Got to be able to articulate it. Do you want to just be friends? Do you want a relationship? Have you communicated that to him? When I asked the question, do you want a relationship? Have you communicated that to him? Her response was, I told you, I said to him, if he's interested, he needs to step up and be a man. Ladies, that's not very encouraging for men. Most men, if they come at you, they want you to tell them, yes, you're interested. No, you're not. Can't play games with them. And then expect a real man to play with you, play back with you. He's not going to do it. He's not. I don't speak for all men, but most men not going to do it. If he shows you that he's interested and you reject him, you give him some pushback, don't expect that dude to come back. If you're interested in exploring the relationship through a friendship, say it. Okay? Don't play games. So now, what's the situation? The guy is not texting her back. He's making jokes on some of her posts. He's put her in the friend zone, right? Because he doesn't think that she's interested in a relationship, and she hasn't clearly communicated that, hey, what I was really saying was this. So, my advice to her was, I'm just going to give you the short version. Since you did not tell him what you wanted in the beginning, since you were trying to gauge his interest in a way seen through rejection, he has slid you over to another zone, he ain't interested no more. You probably should move on. Right? Now, why do I say that? Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Listen very closely. This is from a man's perspective. One man. If you won't act like that in the beginning, his fear is, hang on. If you're going to act like that in the beginning, that man is afraid that you're going to always act like that. And you got to understand it. If you're going to act like that in the beginning, his concern is you're going to always act like that. Now, what do most women want? Many women. And it's fine. Rightfully so. They want to be pursued. Contrary to popular belief, most women think men want someone they can chase. Not a grown-ass man. What grown-ass men want is someone who can verbalize, communicate, say what they want or what they don't want. Period. What they want or what they don't want. Period. That's what they want. And so, missed opportunity for that lady. She'll be fine. She'll land on her feet. She'll do what she needs to do. And who knows? They may end up being in a relationship anyway. Let me ask you in the comment section. Lee, tell me, how old are you and where are you joining from? How old are you and where are you joining from? Leave it in the comment section right now. How old are you and where are you joining from? I'm sharing, this is day 58, 59 of relationship success. The 6 big relationship mistakes most people make and how to avoid them. Where are you joining from and how old are you? Leave it in the comment section. I want to know. Where in the world are you joining from? 52 Fort Lauderdale. How you doing, Yolanda? Yolanda, I might have you join me on this live. In fact, I want to get your opinion on some stuff. Yolanda's one of my most faithful and trusted friends. What would your advice, Yolanda, have been to this young lady? What would your advice have been to this young lady who played this game in the beginning? Right? She liked him. I mean, we did that stuff when we were younger, right? You like him, you think he's cute, right? You want him to make a move. So instead of moving forward or towards him, you are moving away from him in hopes that he will chase you. Is that what many women do? Yolanda, request to join me live so we can have this conversation. Anyway, that's an issue. That's an issue that people have. And my thing is I want people to know in this day and time that we're living in, you have to, 1, know what you want, and number 2, you have to communicate it. That's the question of the day. I've asked this question a bazillion times this week from my coaching clients and from people who have sent me DMs on all of the social media platforms. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They've asked the question, WhatsApp. So I'm asking, what do you want to see happen? What do you want? What do you want to see happen? I was talking to a gentleman this morning. I'm still having a conversation with him, right? The conversation that I'm having with this gentleman. He's in a relationship. How you doing, Yolanda?
Hey, how's it
Good.
going?
I'm doing wonderful. Let me back up a little bit so that I can make sure I am in the frame.
Okay.
Anyway,
I see you getting your workout on.
I'm trying to make it happen. You know what I mean?
I
Now
see
listen,
you.
I am not ashamed to say that you, ma'am, are
Yes.
one of my closest friends and one of the people who are one of my trusted advisors. Now listen to this. You've never heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it anyway. I
Okay.
often tell people that everybody needs a mentor. Everybody does. Somebody in their life that they can bounce things off of. Doesn't mean that that person is better than you. It's just a different perspective. That person gives you a different perspective so that you can kind of ponder things, see things from a different light. And you're one of those mentors in my life.
Well, thank you. Well, you know that I feel exactly the same. We are very good friends, known each other most of our lives, right? More than we
Yes,
haven't known each other.
that's exactly correct. I have a lady that I was talking to
Right.
via instant message, and this was her situation. The situation was, hey, I'm working with this guy. He's flirting with me. He's not making a straight line move, but he's showing me that he's interested. And she kind of pushes him back and says, no, don't do that. If you're interested, if you want to step up, be a man. That's kind of what she said. This is what she said in her message. Step up,
Right.
be a man, don't play right. And this guy saw that as a rejection or a handout, and he kind of said, okay, I'm just going to slide you over to the friend zone. Now 6 months later, she's interested in seeing if there could be something there, and he has moved on in his life. What would your advice be to somebody like that?
I mean, that's such a loaded situation. So let's give a female perspective. I would say a
Yeah.
mature female perspective. One, I say don't date people that you work with for so many reasons. One, because if it goes south and you're still going to work there, now you have a situation where you're dealing with someone and it may not be positive in your workplace. So if
Okay.
at all possible, unless you totally feel the thunder roll and the lightning flash with that person, and you get the idea that that person is truly the one, I suggest don't even date in the workplace. That is one of the off limit spots.
Okay.
Two, I do think that the way she handled it possibly could have been handled a little bit differently. Be a man is I think a very negative statement, and it also brings defense, and therefore there's nothing positive that can come out of it.
Okay. Well, wait. That's very interesting, right? Because from a man's perspective, yeah, be a man. I'm thinking, I'm trying to be a man, if you will. I'm trying to see what's there, and you are talking to me like I'm some chump, right? From a man would be he would be defensive. He would be like, wait a
Correct.
minute, hold up, chick, wait a minute, who you think you're talking to? That kind of thing.
Correct.
What do you think should have been or could have been another way for her to answer that same or to approach him differently? What would
Well,
have been another
I
way?
mean, personally, being a single woman in this dating scene, which is very different now than it was, let's say, 30 years ago, I probably would have said, I don't understand. Or could you tell me what you mean? Or are you asking me out on a date? Or whatever. In the sense of, I probably would have exchanged the energy that I felt. And if he wasn't talking to her in straight lines, meaning directly, I want to take you out, I really like you, there are ways that she could have just said, well, oh, I'm not sure I know what you mean, but are you asking me out, or are you saying you like me? And it just kind of help him along to at least get the conversation going. If he seemed to want to avoid that, then the possibility is maybe he's just, fishing to see. If she really liked him, she could have said, well, I tell you what, why don't we go for drinks after work and talk about it? And that would kind of take the pressure off of him, and also giving her the opportunity to better to get to know him. So I am an assertive person. If it's somebody I like or something I want, I kind of go for it. Whereas in some women feel like it's not a woman's place to go for it. I don't have those hangups. I'm very much a
Well,
2020 woman. So
Yeah, so Yolanda, I get the feeling from this lady, from her responses to me, that she's assertive as well. I don't think that her coming at him like that, I immediately thought that, okay, well, she's a woman, kind of feel like she's in control of her life, that kind of situation. But my concern with her assertiveness and in this situation, the lack thereof with respect to this guy was, okay, you seem to be in control of your life, but why are you timid and asking for what you want or to get clarification in this particular situation? I do believe in 2020 that women should be clear about what it is they want from someone if there is interest on their part. Why is that? Seems like it's still a challenge in many people's lives, women.
well, I think it's a challenge because most women still want to live in tradition. They were taught that a man should come after them. Um, I think that it. I think that most women want to be chased, or most women want to be sought after versus being the one to do so. And I
Mm-hmm.
get that. I totally understand that. I tell men who seem to be interested in me, I say, I meet the energy that you bring to the table.
Okay.
So I believe in even exchanges. A lot of times I may miss the cue that you like me or that you want to date me for many reasons. But if you say something or you come towards me, then I'm going to meet you halfway. So, for example, you smile, I smile back, and I'll say hello. You talk to me, I'll talk back. I'll give you my undivided attention. Like, for example, if he said what he said to her, and I felt like there was a possibility that he was kind of liking me, I was like, oh, okay, we should have drinks and talk about that. I believe in meeting and matching the energy of a person. I am not a traditionalist, though. So you would have to ask a more traditional woman why it's so important for a man to come after her with such fervor of directness and I want to take you out and pay for it and all of that. I believe that we should be assert ourselves accordingly. No, it's too much pressure on one person to take responsibility for the entire relationship. We don't live in traditional value systems anymore. And the reason why I said it's because we can't afford to. Women work, men work. Women have to be more assertive because they work in the workplace.
Right.
Nowadays, there are so many people with so many messages. We want to all be clear on what we do. So that's just kind of how I see it. I say match the energy. There is nothing wrong with it. Get out of the ideals of traditionalism and follow your own pace of what that is. Now,
Let
I
me,
don't say go run after people if they don't seem interested. Now, that's a
right.
different story. And never, Daniel, I say this and I want this to go on record. Never chase after a married man or someone who's spoken for. I don't care
Absolutely.
what you think God told you. That is not your man.
Right. He's
So
already taken.
from those, but if he's free and clear and you're free and clear, I say match the energy, match it.
So
I
let
don't
me,
say overtake it, match it.
I want to know your opinion on this because I want people to understand this as well. So in the times when we were growing up, okay, and relationships, typically you connected with people that you met face to face because there was no technology like it is today.
Correct.
So, ladies, listen to me very closely. The candidate pool, and I'm being funny when I say that. The candidate pool, the opportunity for men to meet a great woman was very, very limited. Social media, community media, that's what social media means, has changed that.
Yes.
Now you can meet someone in the Middle East or Africa or South America or somewhere else in the
Absolutely.
United States
Absolutely.
as easily as we did before. So, because there are more opportunities, most men are not willing to play as many games. So the traditional way of pursuing a woman, if you will, because you had to have most guys had the confidence to walk up to a person, have the conversation with, sit down and have dinner. You can do most of that virtually now. Get all of the pre-dating stuff out of the way. Because of social media, it's different. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I think that there are many thoughts. I think the value of a human being does not decrease or diminish because there's more opportunities. I believe you should know who you are and value yourself accordingly. Do not settle for the sake of I need a man, want a man, desire a man or a woman, because this could go either way.
Right?
I think the game players from the beginning, in the middle, and even today, more or less, and you please correct me, are the men. Women are a lot more serious about life, love, and relationships. So they play less games. Here is the good side. I totally agree with you. The good side to what you said is social media has opened the world. You no longer have to look in your city, in your neighborhood, around the corner for love. Now you have an entire world that you can
Right?
work from at your fingertips. And a lot of people's like, oh, I don't want a long distance relationship. But you never know. Your husband could be in India. You never know. So you got to open yourself up for it. That I agree with that. But here's the downside to that, especially with a lot of men. You want to try a little bit of everyone because somebody may come better. And I believe that everyone has to make a decision on what's best for them. So, as you stated before, know what you want. And how do you know that? You've tested water sufficiently. Are you keeping a journal? And is that journal in that journal, as you go through your experiences, are you writing things down that you like, that works for you, and that you dislike or doesn't work for you? And then are you going back and reviewing that prior to getting involved again? And then in that next entry or those next few entries with the next person, are you writing things that you like and things that you don't like? Things that work for you, things that don't work for you, things that progress you, things that push you back. Those are all very important. And the reason being, and this can be a written journal physically, or it could be a mental journal, but you have to know what you want, who you are, and what works best for you prior to getting in this all together. But it first starts, Daniel, and I say this all the time, it always starts with you.
That's
Because you
right.
cannot love your brother, you cannot love your sister like yourself if you don't love you.
At
Nobody
100%.
goes before you. It's you. So you got to know you. You got to love you. You got to deal with your issues. Then you can reach out and say, I'm ready,
All right.
personally.
So let's answer this question from Isabel. She says, again, there's a long distance relationship or a long distance connection that she has. And she says he avoids calling her. And because he says calling her and having conversations with her, I'm assuming all the time, is not something that he needs. It's something that she needs, but it's not something that he needs. I'm going to give you the opportunity to respond to her and give her whatever advice you can give her because I trust you. And then I'm going to respond I want you to respond from a female perspective. I'm going to respond from a male perspective. How should she deal with a guy who does not call her and connect with her as frequently as she needs? What should she do to either get that corrected or move on or whatever?
Okay, so it's never as easy as an answer, a yay, nay, whatever, right? So
Right?
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. There's a book called "He's Lying, Sis," and it
Okay.
was a really,
I
really,
got to read
really
that damn book.
He's Lying, Sis. It's a short read. It's a quick read. Everybody knows what's in this book because we live it every day. I'm gonna say a few things. One, stop being needy. We cannot be needy people. And the way you stop being needy is to be fulfilled within your own life. You bring your wholeness, your happiness, your greatness to every situation. So you don't need people to give you. They only enhance. Two, if he's not calling you, he has someone else, and that's game he's playing with you. And sis, get out of that. I'm telling you now, because if you're not getting a essential need met in a relationship, like quality time, especially if that's your love language, right? Then what are you doing?
Okay,
No,
now,
it cannot be on one person's turn. It
no,
has to be, an even exchange.
all
Go.
right, I agree with only part of that. Okay,
Yeah.
so so I'm not sure that I would use the word she's being needy. I do what I this is the approach I would take. Okay, so I would ask Isa, why do you need him to contact you so much? Why is that important to you? And like you said, quality time might be her top love language. It's my second most important love language. Spending quality time with me, sacrificing your time to spend with me shows me that you want me, need me, desire me, and love me. That's important. So people who do that in my life, that's important, right? My wife and I, we spend quality time together. So, one, if that is important to her, then what's happening is she's not feeling loved, wanted, needed, or desired by this person. Wanted, needed, or desired if they're not in a relationship. She's not feeling that way. So she has to communicate with him why this is important. Now, there are 4 questions that I listed yesterday that I think is important. You tell me what your opinion is. One, ask yourself, what is the issue? Now, she listed the issue as he doesn't call me. I don't call that an issue. The issue is, why is it making you feel this way? Well, he's not calling, so I don't feel like he wants to be in a relationship with me, or he doesn't want me, or he doesn't like me, or he just doesn't have a need for me. Okay, so that's the issue. You're feeling like you're unwanted or unneeded. Okay. Number 2, have you told him? Have you picked up the phone and actually told him, not fuss about you not calling me, but say, listen, I'm not feeling desired by you because, I've sent you a text message and I haven't heard from you in 3 days. Or I've called you and left a voice message and you haven't responded. Third, is he willing to change that behavior for you? Right? Because if he is, he sees the importance of it. He recognizes and understands that it's something that's important to you. And if he really, really cares about you, if he really wants to be with you, if he really cares about your feelings, your heart, right, he'll change it. If he's not willing to change it, you have your answer. Now, the final question is the most important question. And this is what I will ask you. If he doesn't change it, are you willing to live with that for the rest of your life? If the answer is yes, then you're good. You got to understand what you're walking into. If you are not, then Yolanda, I agree with you. Sis, he lying. You need to keep it moving because he ain't going to change it for you. It's who he is. You need to keep it moving and find somebody who will. What you think?
So all the good things, all the good things. But see, I kind of think that the pregame should have covered all of that, right? And this is something that most people do. A lot of people find somebody they're attracted to. They're attracted to the person. The person kind of takes the lead. They converse, they go out, and then they get into a thing, right? A
Yep.
situationship is what the brother calls it. A
Yep.
situationship. So they get in a situationship and they never pre-gamed. And pre-gamed, as you already know, being an athlete yourself, is you sit down and you talk about the strategies that you're going to implement to win the game. So if you never pregame and say, hey, these are my needs, these are the things that I need from you. And that person in exchange says, these are the things I need from you. And then you have conversations about why the last situation may not have worked out. And here is something that I learned from it, and vice versa. That should have been a pregame. But
Right.
here's something that I think was missed in your 4 points. In a long distance relationship, then all you have is phone calls until the next time you see each other. It should be a given that there should be an exchange of conversation ever so often in order to maintain the relationship. If he feels like he never needs to call you and he only wants to text when he wants to text, again, I say, he's lying, sis. That's game. And he has someone else, or you are just not that important to him. Because you know, as a man, Daniel Smiley, and I know as a woman, that we make time for what we want to make time for.
I agree 100% with you.
Nothing in this freaking world
Yeah,
will stop us from listen, you're giving this live and working out, because working out is you're making time for both.
that's right.
That's who we are as human beings. We
So,
will
Yolanda,
cut out some things just so we can do the thing we need or want to do.
I agree 100% with you. So in this instance, I would say, and I'm sure you would, Issa, he lying to you. You're not that important. Don't
To
give
him.
your energy, right, to him. Don't give your energy to someone who does not make the same kind of commitment to you that you are making to them. It's probably time for her to move on. Would you agree?
I would say yes. And not only that, sis, I'm going to say this to you. You are a fly sister within yourself. Self-love is imperative. That brother is not worthy of you if he don't want to give you the time and what you have to offer. So take your fly self, go buy you an outfit, and go have a good day. And when the next brother come along, just go ahead and say to him, now these are the needs that I have in the pregame. Either you can take it or leave it. And I understand either way, because we want people to do what they want to do. But if he wants you, this is what you need from him.
So let's talk
Trust
about
me.
Let's talk about pregame, because guess what? I believe 100% in what you're talking about. So in my situation, I didn't mean to say situation, in my marriage to Ashley, I learned some things from my previous relationship that I spoke to you about. You and I had conversations, and it made me ponder and wonder, first of all, how the hell did I end up in this damn situation that I was in?
Right.
Like what? Like, wait a minute. hold on, wait. See, like, I'm a fly guy. I have something to offer. I'm not a bum. I know how to love right. I know how the hell did I end up in this situation? What the
You
hell
know
is
what?
wrong with me, right?
You know why? You know why, Daniel?
Why?
The same reason why we as women do it. Because, see, we think men are exempt, but they're not. We are human beings. Let me explain to you why. I know my phone is ringing. I have to meet up with somebody.
That's all right.
Let me just say this one thing. The reason being is because you did not have confidence in yourself.
Answer that phone live. Answer it live. That's fine with me. You're right. I did not have confidence. I was coming out of a long relationship. I didn't have the confidence. And so I'm like, what the hell is going on? And why did I put myself to through 3 more years of BS with this someone? So going into my relationship with my wife, the love of my life, we game planned. I walked in and said, hey, this is important to me. That's okay. You're fine. I can't hear you, but you're going to come back on in just a second. I walked in and said, this is important to me. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I need. She did the exact same thing. And we agreed, okay, that's what you need. That's what you want. I can provide that for you. This is what you need. You can provide that for me. And that helped us to get started on the right foot.
Okay.
Right?
But I'm going to say this, and you know I got to go. But yeah. I'm going to just say this. And I know this is a great conversation, so we got to pick this up at another time. The bottom line is this. The reasons why we find ourselves in situations is because we think less of ourselves in the moment. It's all about us. It's all about the way we perceive the situation, is all the way about the way we perceive ourselves. Because if we look in the mirror and see our truest worth, see the truest love for ourselves that we really should have, we would never settle for anything less than what we are worthy of. We wouldn't even give it the time of day. So when you find yourself falling short or accepting less, it's
compromising.
It's time to pause and say it's time for some self-love. Because I obviously don't see who I am today because this situation is beneath me.
I
And you
love it.
gotta hype yourself. And if you ain't got a hype person in your life, like Daniel has a Yolanda that's a hype person to tell him who he is when he's down and out, get you one. Because we all need hype in our lives to remind us of how great we really are and what we deserve.
Thank you so much. You know what? I love you so much, and I appreciate that. And listen, we are definitely going to pick this conversation up again, and we're going to talk about what self-love looks like, the whole 9 yards. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm going to
Thank
talk to
you.
you soon.
Okay.
My friends, listen to me. You've heard it from a woman's perspective. You heard it. You understand? You heard it. You have to know what it is you want in life. You have to set expectations and standards so high that you're not willing to allow people to go below those standards. Do not compromise on the basic things that you want. I want somebody who's going to call me. I want somebody who's going to respond to me. I want someone who's going to spend time with me. Whatever those things are. I want somebody who's going to love me, touch me, make love to me, spend time with me, give whatever it is. You can't compromise on that. I did it. I did it. I did. Thank God I don't have to do it anymore. Because if you decide, if you make a choice that you are not willing to go below a particular expectation, a standard, then what will start happening is those people that belong in your life, they will start to show up. Because what we respect comes closer to us, what we honor comes closer to us, and what we dishonor, what we don't care about, that moves away from us. Don't settle. Know what you want. Write it down. Don't be specific. Make sure you're specific. Don't be vague. Be very, very specific. So the next time you see a picture of perfection in the man or the woman that should be in your life, and if they possess all of those qualities that are important to you, and you communicate those to them, and that person is willing to serve those needs in your life, and you are willing to serve the needs in their life, you got yourself something good going on. I love you. We will pick up tomorrow for the next relationship question of the day. If I did not answer your question, send me a DM. I'm asking everyone for your support. Click the link in the bio. Get my book, Relationship Success. The 6 big relationship mistakes most people make and how to avoid them. 35 years of learning how to have a successful relationship is contained in that book. What took me 35 years to learn, you'll know in less than 1 hour. I want you to be happy. That's all I care about. A $9 investment in your life could change your life and avoid 35 years of unhappiness and mistakes. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.